Hello there, dear viewer. I've been playing Palworld since day one of its release. Legitimately, since day one. I have a stream on it, and this was back when I had no idea what I was doing. No, I'm not excited. This is a blatant ripoff of Pokemon. Why would I be excited? Oh no, you can set them on fire? Oh god! And I also believed that Luckies had different color variations, just like Pokemon. You don't think they have different color swaps, really? So is it just like a rare variant, or what? Ah, young and naive MegaBits. I have a main save that I've played on since day one. It's a save called Elsewhere, and as of now, it is over 400 days right now. This base that I have here has been my main hub for quite a long time. It's served me well, and I have really enjoyed my time here, but I think it's time for a change. So in today's video, I will be completely destroying this base and remaking it from the ground up. You all can get an idea of how I build and maybe even get some ideas for your own base. With that being said, if you like this video and my other content, please subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it will help me immensely. I'm nearing 10,000 subscribers, and with your help, I know we can do it. With that intro out of the way, it's time to start moving all of my items out of my base and into these lovely boxes I've placed. I moved all of my pals into the box, and I then started demoing everything. This process was kind of bittersweet for me. It's like moving out of your childhood home almost. Like, I have all these memories of playing this game, and just going through everything kind of brings up a lot of said memories. It's an interesting process, and I wasn't really expecting a video game like Palworld to bring up so many memories. My best friend Chaz helped me build this base, and I remember him making this loft up here. It's little things like this that I remember while I do this. The base has gone through so many revisions, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come as there's more updates to Palworld. This has just been an interesting thing for me, is what I'm saying. It took roughly 20-ish minutes, but everything in the base has been moved to these boxes now. It's kind of crazy. This is my Palworld life in, what, 8 boxes in a fridge? It's kind of insane. This is like hundreds of hours of progress. But now, it's time to fully get rid of this building that has served me oh so well. It'll be bittersweet, but we're heading for greener pastures. This was an exciting moment for me, and when I broke the last foundation, it was pretty incredible seeing my whole base just fall away. I won't forget you, dear base. You served me well. I was having a bit of a moment here, and yes, it's silly, but then Palworld decided to do this for comedic relief. Really, Palworld? I'm trying to have a cathartic moment here. And you're deciding to drop a meteor? Wow. The audacity. Now that that's completed, I wanted to see if there was a better place to put my PAL box, because that is one of the most important things in any base you build. You need to make sure you have the space for it, and then you kind of need to think ahead, like, will one of my pals walk off and fall off a cliff or something? That was kind of my main fear here. I feel like I can move my PAL box up. I can move it up a little bit and to the left. Now granted, that means I would have more of this side that I'd have to do something with so my pals wouldn't get stuck. But then I really wouldn't have to worry about, like, my pals deciding to fall off this cliff or something along those lines. So yeah, let's move the base just a little bit. Okay, so I've placed my PAL box how I wanted it, albeit I did have some issues with the Free PAL Alliance, but that was taken care of relatively easy. Now, first thing I want to do is make a wall around my base. I decided to go with a metal gate and stone walls. I'm not really a fan of the barbed wires that you get with the metal walls, so stone it is. I try to stay exactly on my baseline while building my walls, because I'm not a fan of that blue tint you get when your walls are slightly outside of your base. I don't know, just one of those things. It was going pretty well. Now, I did get to a point where my walls were so high that they weren't touching the ground once I got to this dip area. So I had to start a new wall line. This was somewhat difficult as I needed to make sure it flowed properly and looked good, but I was able to get it. I built this next line of walls so high that there was also a gap between the ground and the wall right here. So I used a mod to disable clipping and built a little stone foundation here to cover up that hole. I think it looks pretty nice. Now, I know you heard me say mod. I do have Cheat Engine installed, and I'm running a script that disables building restrictions. I won't be linking this one though, as it's not just a mod. I had to customize the script itself. If you're interested in this, a Google search will lead you in the right direction. Finally, please don't ask me how to mod your game. I don't want to be responsible if anything happens to your save or your game. The walls around my new base are officially built, and I'm not gonna lie, I am really liking them if I'm being honest. Now, I don't really know what to do next. I don't even have a foundation laid to start, and I don't even know where I want to take the base. I do know that I want like a lookout tower somewhere within my base, just because I think it looks kinda cool. But before I do actual building, let's make a spot for my pals to walk up and down this dip here. I don't want to worry about them getting stuck down here. Building this to look good was a struggle. Having the ability to disable snapping and clipping is very nice, but it's still difficult trying to get everything to line up, or at least line up in a way that makes it look good. It took a few tries, but I did get it to a point where I liked it. Now that that's done, I want to place flame cauldrons going down these stairs. I think it adds a good splash of contrast here, and it kind of gives the base more castle vibes. Now that the stairs are done, let's make the lookout area. I think I want to make it here. This place is kind of empty, so this will be a perfect spot for it. And this will also eliminate pals going down here and getting stuck. I built a wall where the gap between the ground and the foundations were, and wanted to try to put up a lot of ivy to give it the appearance that it's been here for a while. It's not perfect, but I like how this looks as of now, and the more I build up here, the better I can make it look. Now it's time to build the actual lookout building. Getting everything lined up, again, is almost impossible, and I'm sure I could probably make this work better. But if I only focused on that, this video would be far longer and probably incredibly boring. So let's skip ahead a bit to when this building is almost done. So for this building, I wanted to mix stone and glass and then use metal stairs. I think all three of these materials look really good together if you place them properly. And I like how this came out. It's not perfect, sure, but I'm into it. I wanted to work on the roof a bit more. I used benches for a type of fence. Then I placed 2 turrets. After that, I kept coming back to this gap. I hate it. So I came up with an idea. I first placed a carpet. Then after that, I placed these cloth-covered containers, and this gives a vibe like military in my head. After that, I placed a large container, and I think the roof is done now. I think adding the containers really brought it together. It's a little empty, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, you know, as I'm flying around, I think it looks pretty good. Alright, on to the next thing. So, now with the lookout tower done, it is time for my next build, and I want to make a vista point on the other side of my base. Like, right around here. I mean, look at this view. Who wouldn't want to be able to step out and just look around? Gaze at the landscape, if you will. I'm going to use wooden foundations for this one. So you know how like fishing docks like on ponds are usually wooden? I'm thinking of something like that, and we can call this a sky dock. Trademarked. I had to build these pillars all the way down this cliff, so I had enough support to build this dock out. It's definitely scary knowing that if one of these pillars gets taken out, the whole thing will collapse. But I'm just not gonna think about it. That can be a problem for future MegaBits. The sky dock is done, and I really like it. Well, I lied. I hate the wood, so let's try stone. Okay, so I took another direction. I decided to make a pointed roof rather than a flat roof. At first, I hated it. Then I decided to use some glass roofing here, and now I think I'm into it. It kind of looks like a cat's head. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, sky dock done. Okay, now I want to make an area for farming. I know I have a whole base dedicated to farming and breeding, I understand that, but having a constant supply of food in any base is a good idea in my opinion. I first started by making 3 silos. Then behind the silos, I put in a line of flower beds for aesthetics.
After this, I added in some ivy on the stone walls. Then it was time for me to build my plantations. Now, for this, I'm using a stacking technique that you don't need any mods for. You start off by making a stool, then you build a tire right in front of that. You then place your first plantation. Now this is where the process will have a slight variation for you since I am using my own mods. You'll need to then delete the stool. After that, you place your second plantation on top of the tire, then you delete the tire, then you place your final plantation. This allows you to stack 3 plantations, saving quite a bit of space. For me, I like staggering my plantations though, so I'm able to get this cool step effect. After placing 6 berry plantations, I decided to place 2 wheat plantations. It's not all perfectly symmetrical, but I kinda like it that way. I mean, what farm is perfectly aligned, you know? Anyway, farming area complete. The next thing my base will need is a spot for a logging site and a stone pit. I'm at the point where I've saved up so many resources that I probably really don't need this, but I still want the option to have it. Now, I didn't really overthink this one. I was originally planning on making a platform, but I feel like that'll just end up taking too much of my precious space. So I just placed them right here beside the entrance to the sky dock. Logging site and stone pit, done. Now, I think it's finally time to start building my main house. Let's take a look at how the base is shaping up as it stands now. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's really coming together nicely. I have no idea what type of base I will make, I'm just kinda going for it at this point. I'm gonna first start off just by placing foundations down to kind of get an idea of what the shape of this house is gonna be. Okay, so it's a odd shape. It's really weird. I want to have my PAL box inside of the main building, so I built around it. I placed down metal pillars as I have an idea for what I can do with this spot later on in the build. After placing the foundation, I went back to this area and started to build it out a little bit more. I think this will be where my pals will sleep at night. I'm thinking it'll be probably 2 stories high. The first story will be for smaller pals with fluffy pal beds, and the second story will be for the bigger pals. I think I'm gonna stick with this stone and glass combination. It does something for me. I don't know what, but I like it. I started to build my pals' sleeping quarters. I first did the large pal bed area. I built 4 large pal beds, then placed a table with 2 TVs on it. I feel like this will be a nice spot for them to just kinda hang out and chill. I went down to the first level, put my fluffy pal beds down, then made a vending machine, a claw machine, and a sitting area. Consider this a break area, if you will. Okay, I did have to delete the claw machine because the music is killing me. I do like it a lot, but when I'm focusing, I just can't stand it. Anyway, I'm gonna skip ahead to when I have more of this foundation placed. Okay, so it's been... I was gonna say it's been a minute, but it's been like an hour. I'm now starting to furnish this part of the main building. The main reason I'm doing this is because I really need the space that those boxes are taking up that's holding all of my stuff from the previous base. I've made a couple areas. I have a crafting area, a storage area, and this area I'm building now is where I'll keep all of the blueprints. Moving everything over is for sure a chore, but let's see how it's looking now. I'm really liking this thus far. I don't really know how the PAL pathing is going to be, or if this will even be all that functional. But this is really shaping up to be a cool base in my opinion. I'm very concerned about making a second level along with making the roof. I don't know what it is, but I'm so bad at making roofs. I wish I were better, I'm just not. Well, that leads me to my next fear, the second story. Before that though, I need to finish setting up walls for the first floor. I'm gonna stick with the stone and glass pattern because it just looks nice. And with me using stone pillars, it really all comes together. I decided to put glass walls in front of my stone foundations, and I think I like this. I don't know yet, but I'm just gonna keep doing it for now. Now that I've done this, it's time to start building the second story. Now in writing the script, I'm trying to formulate my thoughts so they can make sense to all of you, but with having ADHD, it's just an incredibly daunting task. I will do my best, but just keep in mind it may not make any sense until you see the full build. Okay, so the idea I have is essentially a hodgepodge of differing roof builds. I want to mix square roofs with triangular pointed roofs and then throw in a one-sided triangular roof. You see what I mean? Explaining it is difficult. Now I'm assuming editor MegaBits has been doing a wonderful job piecing the footage together so you're able to get an idea of what I want. I've came pretty far on the roof build as of now, and I think it looks cohesive and aesthetically pleasing, which was always my main goal. That being said, I'm having a little bit of issues figuring out what to do here. Okay, I think I have an idea. Let's see if this works. Okay, I don't hate this. I do think it's a little closed off within the roof, so I'm gonna change some of the stone roofs with glass roofs. I'm hoping this will bring more light in and not feel so dungeon-like. Now this is feeling pretty good to me. I have no idea what this second story can be used for though. I mean, I'm just one guy. I really only need like a shack and I'd be happy. In hopes of not overthinking this square glass room, I'm just going to use glass roofs here. Now that that is done, let's do a quick flyover and see what it looks like. Oh wow, I think I am in love. This is just great, in my opinion. There's something to be said about finding perfection in imperfection. You see, this roof and building isn't really all that perfect. You know, it's not symmetrical, the shape is weird, the roof is really weird, but man, it looks good, you know? I do need to finish the pal sleeping area roof though, so time to do that. I decided to raise my walls one wall higher here. I wanted any of my bigger pals to have no issues getting inside. After this, I built the rest of the roof, then I thought it'd be cool to have like a couch up here. I can just look out over the Palpagos Islands and, I don't know, like drink iced tea or something. Okay, so the build is done. Well, yes and no. I still do my factory lines, electric generators, furnaces, cooking area, and then I have to see how my pals react to the new base with their pathing. I first started with my electric furnaces. I placed 2 along with a box in between them so I can just drop ingots in there. I then placed the pal dressing facility here. I remembered that there was an electric medicine bench, so I built that, and I have it in my crafting area. I then placed 2 statues of power here. This is mostly for aesthetics. Now, I know a lot of people may complain about this, but I use the second story as my factory area. I understand that this means a lot of pals won't be able to come up here and make things, and you were totally right. But I have come too far now. I can't just destroy everything downstairs to fully fix this. So this will be functional. Yes, it's just gonna be a little bit slower, which is fine by me. Now, where should I make my power station? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot one factory line, the PAL disassembly line. This is for sure needed in any base. I'm mostly joking, but hey, listen, if I want this base to suit any needs I may or may not have, then this does need to be here. I've decided to put it on the roof, so my base pals don't ever see it. I don't want them to know that side of me. Okay, now I need to make the power station, and the lookout building is a perfect place for that. After getting that set up, I decided to go around placing the last items I needed to give my pals a boost. I placed a water fountain, 2 snowmen, a toolbox, and the electric pylon. Now that I've done that, I want to move my refrigerator somewhere else, and then I need a crusher and a mill. With that, I think my base is done. I'm sure I'll find needs in the future and other changes I'll have to do, but I think it's officially time to let my base pals out and check out their new home. Well, it seems like this base works for pal pathing. At least I can see Orzurk and all of my farming pals traverse the base fine. I'll obviously have to wait a while to see if any issues come up, but I'm not mad about it. This feels nice. Let's do a quick walkthrough of the new castle bits. made it through this whole video, thank you very much, dear viewer. You are the thing that keeps me going, and I love you for that. But that's all I got. Bye!